What's up, y'all? It is last week on Instagram, excuse me, guys, where we go through my post from last week and drop some more insight into what went down and go more depth in the topics I'm covering, the videos I'm doing, because I got to make a 3-second clip with a caption that's short and informational. We can really get to the brass tacks here. So let's jump in. So first thing we have up is the Night Swim podcast. So this is a podcast I'm doing with Elvis Burrows. Elvis swam at Kentucky in the, I guess 2010 would have been his senior year. That was my freshman year. And just two guys who keep it real on swim things, right? And they kind of have an alternative view and take on things. And I'm going to say honesty, on an honest take on things. Right, it's not this like conflated. I think that's not even the right word. I think I just threw that word in there to look smart. It's not this take where you're trying to fit in or say the right thing. It's like, no, like this is what it is. Like the talk you have when you're with your homies, joking around. When you're with the teammates in the locker room, when you're at the barber shop, like that type of joking atmosphere over things, and just being lighthearted and more entertaining, and showing that swimming isn't this I'm not gonna say zero, but this like copy paste personality sport, right? Like we have a lot of different faces, a lot of different personalities, and we are an entertaining sport. It's just I think a lot of people are scared to be entertaining, and we're not. So let's watch this video real quick, and then we'll move on to the next one. This is the one who woke up to
Reagan Smith.
To Reagan Smith trying to stealth a stanky one midnight. You're going to have to put me in Guantanamo Bay, George Dubs, Guantanamo, to find out that information.
Woken up by smell? Like, do people sleep through fires?
I still don't know if girls use a bathroom like that. Y'all think I'm joking and I'm like, he's being immature? I am being immature, but I'm legitimately also telling the truth. Girlfriends, friends, after parties, never in my life. To do number 2. Kate Douglas is the one who woke. And that is true. I've never, ever seen somebody do it or been around a girl who has done a number 2. I think it's a self-respect thing, really. I don't think a lady wants a guy having an image of her. It's just, ugh. Anyway, let's move on to our next. Oh, I did want to say this about the. It's kind of like this is kind of what you can expect. So we have this ticker. Ours is in the middle, and then we just talk over different topics. We don't do like an hour, or I guess we do an hour an hour worth of topics. Sorry, guys, I'll conjugate a little better. And we just run through popular things going on in the sport, things that in other sports that we need to be aware of as swimmers, to take the sport to the next level and be more of an entertainment sport that can put money behind our athletes. So that's what you can expect from a night swim. All right, let's get to our next video. Okay, so this, guys, this is the type of feedback I love to see. Okay, so when I started Rakely, and this is a very famous technique, like has an app and everything, like very respected, like big time, big game hunting. Okay, we out here on big game hunting, and like the thing that I want to do is give everybody access to the things they actually need to swim fast, right? Like I remember when I was at UT, Jimmy, one day he was like, yeah, like at the some Worlds camp or Pan Am's camp, well, it's a big one. He's like, they taught us this thing about this dive. And I was like, well, I could have used that to maybe make the team, right? Like, so there's a consolidation of where all the best swimming information is, right? And then you got to be at the top to get it. And it was like, that's kind of bullshit. So, I I took everything I learned from guys like Pearsall, guys like Clary, Colin Jones, Dave Walters, Garrett Weber-Gale, Ian Thorpe, all these great Olympic champions and world record holders and American record holders and NCAA champions and trailblazers, right? Like Ariana being the first woman to go 46 and Cole Gragan being the first high schooler at age 17. He was a 17-year-old, young senior, August birthday, to go 46 in the 100 back. So this was kind of like, how can I take this information and make it applicable to everybody, right? And it was I'm not gonna say it was a long process, but it was definitely a process, trying to make sure that the word that I think makes it work is the same word that works, that the kid can interpret. So they may have a different word for something, so I got to use their word, and then I got to make sure that everybody else knows their word, and then you got to find the right combination, and then be able to explain the feeling that they're trying to make, because they can't see themselves. They can only feel what they're doing. I can't feel what they're doing, but I can see what they're doing. Luckily I've been through it, so I can communicate that through that barrier. But that's what it was about, and I always look at it this way. I was somebody who shouldn't have fallen through the cracks, right? With my athleticism, my talent, my toughness, my strength, my length, genetic marvel, you know what I'm saying? And especially for swimming, as far as the needs to be a successful or to have a successful frame, like body style for swimming. And it's like, if I can take that, like David said, you don't know how to swim, not know how to swim, be 38th in the world and still fall through the cracks. It's like, if I can be that, I'm not going to say important, but I think that would be important to a coach to take care of. If I can be that important and fall through the cracks, anybody can. So it was like, let's stop that. And then, I start coaching, we're trying to, outswim teams with, 2,000 people. We got 250. We got to make every kid matter. So, and we did, we did it at a high level when I was building out Rakeley in the very beginning. All right, let's get to our final. Damn, we got to do this fast. So I'm going to have more videos up, guys, starting this week. I've already put them out. They're ready to go. So I'll have a video up every week this day. We're back into the swing of things all the way. Health is good. Mentals, they're doing great. Here we go. Allergies, I probably for the last 2 hours had no sniffles. And here they go. Sorry, guys. So let's get into this last video, and it is crossover secrets. So it says 10 comments. It's kind of funny. Obviously, there's nothing here. This coach got into it with me. Wait. Did we watch? I don't even think we watched the video, did we, guys? My bad. I'm tripping. Oh, it wasn't a video. Okay. So in this video, I talk about I had another post. We'll pull that up real quick, where I talk about the advantage of why you need to be putting your arm behind your head when you do your crossover turn. Where is it? Yeah, this one right here. Killing the game. 22,000 likes. We like that. But I talk about in video right there how her arm is behind her head. And how because of that, it naturally, right, if I'm coming into the wall, if I put my arm behind my head, it naturally opens up my chest and protects me from a DQ. Right? So in the video, what I talk about is how the advantages of this. And, people say, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, you're cheating, this is bad advice, whatever. This is the culture that I come from. I come from a hoops culture, which is you have rules, make the official call it. Right? If you're, it's different because it's physical, but you could be getting fouled, and because you're playing like a punk, the official's not going to call it. Like, you don't deserve to get the call. So you got to tough up and do something to get the call. On top of that, there's like gray zones in the sport where I don't know if you ever watch a basketball game where they'll like reach out and like clear out somebody guarding them. A trick Tracy McGrady would do is if a defender had his hand on them, he would grab their wrist and pull the defender, which obviously you would think like you can't do, that's a foul. But it's your direct person that you can foul, and their direct person you can foul. So in the space between is a gray area. So if they put their hand out, you can put your hand out and make contact in that gray area with something in that gray area. So what I did was basically show like disappear behind my head. This is, if you're doing this, like you can do a very good turn because you basically get to cheat. You get to get on your stomach. On the other side of my head. Okay, so I'm behind my head. Just did all that talking with the thing off. So the point I was making here is that when you do this correctly, you don't pass vertical, right? So here, I'm not past vertical, right? You can see my chest, even with vertical, past vertical, not past vertical, okay? So I can turn my body, still safe, right? One, because my shoulder is telling you, right? So we have absence of evidence and evidence of absence, right? We also have evidence of proof and absence of truth. So just because you see something doesn't mean it's true. Right here, that's a DQ. Now it's not a DQ. DQ, not a DQ. So I can keep turning, still not a DQ, still not, maybe now they're thinking about calling it. Move my shoulder back, not calling it. Maybe now, maybe. Look at where my foot is pointed. I am on my stomach. So, and the reason why that I was trying to make with this video is that in basketball, you have what's called a gray area. And it's literally the space between players, right? So, like there's hand checking. So you put your hand on somebody, like slow them down or control their body and slow them down so you can guard them, right? Make it easier for you to guard them. When you touch their body, that is a foul, okay? But your hand leaves from your body through the gray area to their body, foul. So what happens is when your hand enters the gray area, they can enter the gray area and meet you there. No foul gets called either way. And one of my favorite players, Tracy McGrady, what he would do is he would grab players' wrists and pull their wrists through and like just drive through them. Have you ever tried to run while somebody's holding your wrist down? It's very awkward and unathletic. So I just say that to say, like, you got to make the ref call it. Like, that's the whole point. Make the ref call it. And if they don't call it, keep doing it. Make them change the rules. Make them be more accurate. It's not your fault that they gave you rules and you played by the rules. And that's how I believe. That's how innovation happens. That's how it is in all the other sports. Make the ref call it. So maybe it is cheating. Maybe it isn't cheating. Make the ref call it if it is. Right? If you go to a meet and everybody does it, is it cheating? Kitajima showed us it wasn't. The first person to do actual butterfly with symmetrical freestyle kicks and symmetrical freestyle arms was it. And they just made it its own stroke. When Ryan Lackey kicked off on his back, they didn't DQ him. I think they tried to, but it got overturned, and then they changed the rule, right? So maybe you're an innovator, you don't know it, but it's things like this, like understand your rules and take advantage of them. You're not breaking the rules. You're supposed to be pushing the limits of the rule and playing within the confines of the game. So that's it, guys. I will catch y'all later. Thank you for checking into last week on Instagram, on the Rakely Instagram. Drop a like, leave a comment. Which one was your favorite topic? And turn on that notification bell to get notified whenever we drop a video. Peace.